I'm going to do this a little backwards. I'm just back from the dog walk, and the video coming is going to be me and the dog walk and engines. I meant to have my camera turned like this, or I'm going to see how it goes, but I had it recording the wrong way while I was walking. Anyway, it's only a bit of fun, hey? Alright, so I gave Sophie a little trimming myself. Sophie, you're looking pretty ratty there. Well, I'm trying to save $65. That's what I was doing. Anyway, taking dog for a walk again. Oh, here's Skidoo's coming, so it's really nice back here. I thought today since we're starting our engine course, Lucas, I didn't want to show you the MRI machine. I didn't want to ask the people, could I show the video of an MRI machine being used today? So I said, what else am I going to say to you? So I thought maybe we're doing engine course next, so I started talking about engines. And you haven't done any theory yet, so the shop engine that we're going to be using in shop are going to be out of Chevs. They're LS1 engines. Some are 5.3, some of them are 6 litres. We'll discover that as we get going. So they're basically going to be V8 engines. And of course the two banks of the engine will be like that, if you call them a V engine, and the pistons will be going like that on one bank and like that on the other. That's simple stuff, but if you've never learned about an engine, you got a lot to learn when it comes to the internals of the combustion engine. So we got 8 cylinders in the engines we're going to be doing. On every cylinder, if we got 8 of them, you're going to have one piston doing 4 strokes. We got our intake stroke, our compression stroke, our power stroke, and our exhaust stroke. And we're going to have to learn a lot about what the valves do in between all of that. And we got push rods and lifters inside of our engines. We're going to have to learn about timing. When one piston is going up, what are the rest of them doing? You got to have fuel coming in at the right time. You got to have your camshaft and your crankshaft timed, so you got the right spark happening. Not spark, but whatever. We're going to get into all of that stuff. So in shop, we're going to have a good old conversation about that kind of stuff. Can't wait to see. Oh, Sophie's smart enough. She sees the bag and she's going around it. Alright, now what am I going to do? I guess I'm going to jump it and get my feet wet. Alright, so like I said, pistons inside the engine. On the piston, we got, what do we got on the piston? We got rings on the top. So, rings, we got compression rings. We got an oil ring. We're going to learn the differences of those. We got the piston, what? This is me trying to say it now out in the woods. We got the skirt course, and we got the wrist pin on the top of the piston. The wrist pin is like the wrist, I say it's like your wrist right there. When the piston's coming up or down, of course it lets it do the merry-go-round maneuver. And the bottom of that, we got the wrist pin connected to the connecting rod. The connecting rod goes to the, hello Soph. The connecting rod goes down to the crankshaft. So then we got bearings to talk about, and oil clearances and oil pressure. And we got to think about how the oil runs through the engine. What else? I wonder, the oil runs through, like, so this is only silly baby stuff, I calls it, before we get into the deep stuff. Yeah, like, so how do the valves even open up? You know, what happens there? Do you have, what kind of lifters do you have? And the cam has to move the lifters, and the push rod's got to go up and down. And of course, like I said, all that'll come together when we look inside the engines. What would I stick to, I wonder? Even with oil pressure, like, okay, we can hook up an oil pressure gauge, or just look at it in the dash of the car in a cluster and see what the oil pressure will be. And then you're thinking, well, what the heck is that? Okay, so I always like to say, can you imagine the crankshaft and the bearings, the crank bearings, how close the tolerances are on those? And there's just a little bit of oil in between them, and that's the only thing that's keeping your bearings from wearing out when the engine's seizing off. So today's oil classifications, like, you got 0 weight oils now, so the closer the tolerances of the engine, you know, of course you're going to have thinner oils and stuff. So we're going to have a good discussion on all that old stuff. Yeah, cranks, camshafts, it's all pretty easy stuff. And the GM engines, oh, so I was having poop. The GM engines are push rod engines, so they're really, really nice for learning on, or really, because you can see everything happening. So I'm going to make you go right through the whole oil flow, watching how the oil even goes through the crankshaft and how it gets through the camshaft and through the push rod up through the top pan and back on down. Anyway, I got to pick up a bit of poop here now. See you in a minute.